You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Corte, your host and chief White House correspondent. I'm in touch until you be in touch. Follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. That is DRNIIQ. If you just type in Dr. NIQ, I show up fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or simply tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580. And there we are for your listening pleasure. Subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast powered by KBLA Talk 1580. And you won't miss us. You won't miss us at all. And hope everybody's well. It's been a busy news day. Lots of news swirling. Ooh. Now, look, we have just the news that you need. Not too little, not too much. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. Kicking us off, just a few hours before we went on air, the Associated Press reporting that Trump has signed orders seeking to overhaul the U.S. elections, including requiring proof of citizenship. Yeah, the AP is reporting that President Trump today signed a sweeping executive action to overhaul elections in the U.S., including requiring documentary proof of citizenship to register to vote in federal elections and demanding that all ballots be received by Election Day. What? The order says that the U.S. has failed to enforce basic and necessary election protections and call on states to work with federal agencies to share a voter list and prosecute election crimes. It threatens to pull federal funding from states where election officials don't comply. The move, which is likely to face swift challenges because states have broad authority to set their own election rules, it's consistent with Trump's long history of railing against election processes. He often claims elections are being rigged, even before the results are known, and has waged battles against certain voting methods since he lost in the 2020 election to Democrat Joe Biden and falsely blamed it on widespread fraud. Trump is focused particularly on mail voting, arguing without evidence that it's insecure and invites fraud, even as he shifted his position on the issue given its popularity with voters, including Republicans. Now, while fraud occurs, it's rare, limited in scope, and gets prosecuted. The order's documentary proof of citizenship requirement signals that the president is not waiting for congressional Republicans to pass their long anticipated Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, or SAVE Act, which has aimed to do the same thing. This is a shocking change, and this would be a shocking change in U.S. elections if this holds up in court. You better believe we're going to have the best experts on with us as soon as we can book them to dig in to this story beyond the headlines. But just today, again, President Trump has signed an order seeking to overhaul U.S. elections, including requiring proof of citizenship. You know, on the campaign trail, when he said all you got to do is vote once and you don't have to worry about it after that, is this what he meant? I'm not trying to start nothing, but I am trying to illuminate the far-reaching consequences of this action if it holds up in court. In other news, Democrats are demanding answers over the White House's careless signal blunder. This has been all over the news today. There were hearings on Capitol Hill today that got quite fiery in some of its exchanges. Democrats are demanding answers over this White House's careless signal blunder. For people who aren't familiar, Democratic senators demanded answers from leaders of the U.S. intelligence community on how the top editor over at The Atlantic was added to a group chat discussing airstrikes in Yemen, arguing that the, quote, sloppy, careless leak put national security at risk. The unusual story broke on Monday when The Atlantic published a piece by editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg, who said that he had been added to the group on the messaging Signal app and watched his accounts that appeared to match top Trump administration officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. They debated and then coordinated a wave of bombings targeting the Houthis in Yemen. Now, Donald Trump has defended his national security advisor, Michael Waltz, who Goldberg said invited him into the group. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, and John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, both of whom were also in the group, appeared today before the Senate Intelligence Committee of an annual hearing on threats facing the United States, which Democrats used to accuse them of failing to protect sensitive details of U.S. military operations. Tulsi Gabbard, who's a former congresswoman, who's been accused of sympathizing with Russia and other American adversaries. Well, guess what? She declined to answer many of the questions about the chat group, initially saying, quotes, "This is currently under review by the National Security Council." Also under questioning from Senator Warner, Ratcliffe acknowledged that he was in the group, but said the app was approved for use by government officials under the Biden administration, and it was loaded on his devices when he became CIA director. And so you better believe Democrats, at least Senate Democrats, are intending to get to the bottom of this. This is just the blunder that we know about. And the more details I learned about this story, the more I started to wonder, well, how widespread is it? How commonplace is it for folks with security clearance, in some cases top secret security clearances, to be using encrypted apps like Signal, like WhatsApp, to communicate highly sensitive information, right? So today it is a war plan for American troops and allies in Yemen, but tomorrow, is it our social security data? Is it our healthcare data? Right? What other sensitive information is being shared outside of what I understood and so many other people understood to be the natural channels, the acceptable channels for discourse when it comes to highly sensitive national security information. So this isn't the end of this story. This is only just the beginning. Finally, in other news, are you a fan of Malik Yoba? Y'all remember New York Undercover? I remember New York Undercover. I used to love watching New York Undercover. Well, Malik Yoba is he's in the news, and in the news because some people say he's sparking controversy. Other people say he's offering some food for thought. Malik Yoba is called to identify as non-white, sparks a bigger conversation on diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Grio reporting that the Trump administration's efforts to purge DEI initiatives have sparked a wave of responses, ranging from corporations quietly complying to brands like Costco reaffirming their commitment to DEI. But amidst these shifting tides, opinions are divided on the most effective way to respond. Well, most recently, actor Malik Yoba suggested a bold and unexpected way for communities to respond to the government's attempt to dismantle DEI by identifying as, quotes, non-white. He said, quotes, "I decided that I'm no longer a Black man, no longer a person of color, BIPOC, none of that SHI, you know what I'm talking about. What I am is a non-white man. And I think we should all just start calling ourselves non-white." So they're going to have to figure out and just say that stuff explicitly. That's what Malik Yoba said in a video posted on his social media. He went on to say that, quotes, "No DEI, no BIPOC, no references to our Blackness. So we just all walk around. I'm not a Black man. I'm a non-white man. Call it what it is. I'm just non-white. Let them rebuke that. Let them refute that." What do you think? Sound off in a more perfect group chat for those of you that are streaming us on YouTube. And for those of you that are in the car because it is afternoon drive time in LA and also here on the East Coast, feel free to give us a call at 1-800-920-1580. That's 1-800-920-1580 if you got a little something to say about this. When we come forward, we're switching gears. I'm delighted to welcome Donna Hill, the newly appointed Executive Director of the Center for Black Literature at Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn, New York. They have a big symposium that's coming up later this week. If you don't know about it, we're going to let you know. Plus, let's see what Donna's reaction might be to that Malik Yoba story. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Nii-Quartelai. I'm really delighted to welcome Donna Hill to the show. Donna is the executive director of the Center for Black Literature at Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn, New York. Ms. Hill is a best-selling author and educator, um, a literary advocate, and she is now succeeding Dr. Brenda Green, the founder and longtime leader of the organization. Welcome to the show, Ms. Donna.
Hello. Thank you very much for having me. Good evening.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for all the work that you do. And for folks who are a little less familiar of the work that the Center for Black Literature at Medgar Evers College is leading, uh, help us learn a little bit about the mission of the organization and the impact that you all are having, particularly in a time such as this.
Well, let's see, where can I begin? The Center for Black Literature was founded 20 years ago by Dr. Brenda Green. And a big part of our mission, of course, is to expand and spread the voices of Black writers, artists, essayists, poets across the diaspora. So that is our goal, and we do that through a variety of events and programming. We support writers through poetry sessions. We have a Writers on Writing talk show similar to this.
Oh, interesting. You don't say.
Yes, Writers on Writing. That comes on every Sunday. We interviewed a variety of authors. We have an online book club. We have on the even years, we have a full conference. This year, which is the odd year, we have a symposium, which is shorter. So next year, our event will take up full 4 days. So that's sort of our signature program. Our conferences and our symposiums, where we bring together people from across various disciplines to come and speak, to sell their work, to talk about what they're doing. We have interviews and a variety of workshops as well. So it's a kaleidoscope of things that we do with the intention of spreading the good word of Black literature. This year in particular, we are focusing on young adults and middle grade literature, and how important it is to impress upon our young people the breadth and depth of Black literature and all of the writers who are writing for this previously overlooked demographic. Because I think, you can probably attest to this as well. When we were coming up, how many Black books did you see?
Well, I grew up in a very Black household, and um, my mom, was an avid reader, and so we saw lots of books on her bookshelf, lots of books on my dad's bookshelf, and so I grew up with a great exposure to Black books, but I'm sure a lot of people in different parts of the country may not have had the same access.
Exactly, exactly. And I was an avid reader from when I was a kid. I spent all of my free time in the library. So I was kind of like a book nerd. And so growing up that way, I did not see books that represented me. I did
Mhm.
not see it in school. I didn't see it in the street. And so when I just thought about becoming a writer, I did not even see that as a possibility for me as a Black woman. And so now we have this really big influx of Black writers who are writing for our young people, starting them off early so that they will continue to be readers and thinkers and possibly writers themselves.
I mean, I think it's beautiful, and for me as an author, um, a best-selling book, Kamala, the Motherland and Me, go out and pick it up. Just being in community with other authors, it's a very special community.
Oh, absolutely.
The writers among us are very special people, and whether it's fiction or nonfiction, they are documenting the world as it is and the world as it can be, or as they imagine it to be. And I think any way that we are equipping young people with the tools to be able to communicate their story and other stories they imagine, stories they observe. I think those are skills that can help them in whatever their professional or personal pursuits might be.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. And as an English professor, one of my main goals is to get our students to read. And it's always still so shocking that they don't. And so events such as the conference that the Center for Black Literature is hosting provides that opportunity and provides that space and shows these our students as well as the community at large that there are people that look like you that do this and you can do this too. And I think that is so very important.
I agree. I agree. And so, talk to us about this National Black Writers Biennial Symposium that's coming up. It starts Thursday, March 27th, and it runs through Saturday, March 29th. I hope it's not too late for people to register.
No, it's not. We take registration up till the day of. So come on down, and we take on-site registration as well. And you can register for the entire conference by going to centerforblackLiterature.org. You can register right online. It's nominal in terms of registration fees compared to some conferences that we see across the country. So we try to make it affordable. CUNY students and Megger students can come for free. We even have a program for our elders, which is another element of support that we provide through the Center for Black Literature. So it's the Dr. Edith Wright Elders Writers Workshop. And these elders get together every 2 weeks and they work on their memoir, they work on short stories, they work on poetry, and they will also be presenting. So when we look at the work that the center does, it's generational. So we look at our young people, we look at the folks in the middle, and we look straight over to our elders and what we all can bring to the table.
I think that is terrific that you all have carved out so much space. I mean, so much of your work is so intergenerational. And that is so much a part of who we are as Black people across the diaspora, right?
Absolutely.
The respect and regard for the elders and the fact that you all have programming for them. I know there are so many of them that are maybe even a bit intimidated to write their memoir or to take a crack at writing that short story that's always been, in their heart or in their mind. And so the fact that they don't have to do it alone, they get to do it in community with the support of the center. I think that's extraordinary.
Yeah, and they've also published their works. So every other year or so, they actually put together a compilation of the stories that they've crafted through the course of the year, through their workshops, and they put together a publication called Tales of Our Times. And I was fortunate enough to actually be the facilitator for that group several years ago. And let me tell you, these seniors have some stories to tell. So
Mm.
I was always kind of blown away by the things that they would talk about and the experiences that they have. It's just so very rich. So that's one of our programs this week as well, the Elders Writing Workshop.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And so, how are you enjoying the gig? I mean, it's not easy when you're the immediate uh, uh, executive director to follow the founding executive director. This symposium is sort of a big, sort of coming out for you in this new role officially. How are you feeling about that?
Well, it can be intimidating if I think about it too much. We have a small but mighty team. There's really, when we put events together, people would think we had, an office full of, all kinds of people, and we have, media folks, and we have people, and we don't. We have 3 people. Three
Mhm.
people that put all of this together, weekly shows and programming, and we partner with outside organizations to do all sorts of literary events. So stepping in, following Dr. Green is our big shoes to fill. There's no question about that. My hope and my goal is to continue to build on the foundation that she has already set and try to expand on that as much as possible. With all of the political changes that
Mhm.
are happening in the country, we have to be cognizant about um, how we continue to exist through funding, looking at different sources, those types of things.
Yeah,
Um,
I want to pick up on that point when we come forward.
okay.
We are live with Donna Hill, the new executive director for the Center for Black Literature. If you're in New York, uh, March 27th through March 29th, go check out the National Black Writers Biennial Symposium. It is going down over at Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn, New York. Run, don't walk to register, especially in a time like this. We can do anything, particularly in community. And that's what the Center for Black Literature is all about. More with Donna Hill when we come forward. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Got to give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey! I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power!
They say the hardest part of getting something done is getting started. Well, we did that 30 years ago when California first took on the tobacco industry. Now, smoking is down 60%, lung cancer 42%. A couple of our cities have already ended tobacco sales. A California without big tobacco isn't just possible, it's already happening. See our progress at undo.org.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. This is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a
We got Governor Hot Wheels.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to building a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Corte, and really delighted to be in conversation with Miss Donna Hill. She's the Executive Director of the Center for Black Literature. And again, if you are going to be in New York, Thursday, March 27th through Saturday, March 29th, run, don't walk to the National Black Writers Biennial Symposium. What I love so much about this symposium is that there's a major focus on young people. Young people. There's a lot happening in the world that we adults are, quite anxious about and quite disturbed by. And somehow, some way, as Whitney Elizabeth Houston said, you got to teach them well, let them lead the way. And some of the work that's afoot at the Center for Black Literature is doing exactly that. It's teaching young writers very well, letting them lead the way. Did I get that right, Ms. Donna?
Yes, I would say you got that right, because some of the topics that are going to be discussed by the authors who write these books are things like speculative fiction in middle grade and young adult literature, exploration of gender and identity, the matter of Black lives, pathways to courage and healing. So those are some of the workshops and the titles of some of the roundtables rather that the panelists will be talking about. And so these are all of the issues that our young people deal with on a day-to-day basis. So how can we address it in a form that they can accept? And we can do it through literature. They can find their stories in these books that these authors are creating. And so that's what the panels will be talking about. Some of the other workshops will actually be teaching you how to get published in this particular industry, how to write for this particular industry, how to teach these types of books in your classroom. So those are the three workshop panels that we'll be hosting as well during the course of the symposium.
I mean, that was exactly what I was thinking next, because the media industry is changing. It feels like by the minute, including the publishing industry, and all change is not bad change, right? There's some good change afoot. I would say, that there are less gatekeepers than there used to be when it comes to publishing Black literature. And so while we are, equipping the next generation of Black writers, it's also important that we are equipping them with not just the tools to create the work, but to publish the work and monetize their work and protect their intellectual property. And so, as the new leader of the Center for Black Literature, talk to me about how you all are looking to do more of that, not just at symposiums like the one that's coming up, but throughout the year.
Well, we generally will have, beyond the conferences and the symposiums, as I mentioned earlier, we partner with other groups and organizations to bring speakers in. So, for example, in February, we had Hakeem Jeffries came, and we had it was overflow. So he was one of our speakers. Last month, we had Black Girls Are Exhausted but Not Broken. And we had Janine Milner was the moderator. Dr. Naziri Wright was one of the speakers. Another panelist was Dr. Aria Holiday. And so they talked about the struggle of Black women, how important and integral we are to the fabric of society. So we do other things beyond, the symposiums and things like that. And again, our book club, there's always a book that's under discussion, and because it's virtual, anybody can join and anybody can take part. So those are some of the other things that we do. We have a role program, which is for our youth specifically. We have partnerships with schools in our surrounding areas where we bring in teaching artists to work with classrooms on a particular book, and they will write poetry, they do artwork, and these young students put their work together, they have a performance, and they also create their own book of their creative work. So they get that sense, that taste of being published as well. So that is one of our other programs that is ongoing, and that's usually from January to June, and then they'll have their culminating program. So those are some of the other things that we do as well.
Yeah, Ms. Donna, I'm curious, in our remaining minutes together, as I was thinking about this conversation, I couldn't separate the work of the Center for Black Literature as a part of the arc of the work of freedom schools. And in this moment right now, where we're seeing the attempt to erase Black history, the attempt to turn back the hands of time, the attempt to limit critical thinking and the development of that skill set. Talk to us about the new era for the Center for Black Literature as a demonstration of resistance, dare I say, as a demonstration of radical imagination in a time like this?
Well, one of the things that our college as a whole and the Center for Black Literature in particular are determined to hold fast to our principles, to our mission. Of course, I don't know if you've seen it, or probably you have, the whole list of words that are not supposed to be used anymore. You can't say Black, you can't say women, you can't say this, you can't say that. And so, we've been supported by our president, Patricia Ramsey, that we are not going to change our narrative. Okay, so we want to remain steadfast in our belief system and what it is that we want to project. And so it's more important now than ever that these types of institutions and that these organizations continue to exist and not capitulate to the pressure to change who we are. Because then our mission is not what we established. It's not what we envisioned. And so we have to be creative, of course, but at the same time, not change course in terms of what it is that we want to do for our community and for the future.
Well, if anyone out there, our leaders, learners, and listeners want to tap into the future that the Center for Black Literature is building, this Thursday represents a good start to tap into that. The National Black Writers Biennial Symposium honoring middle grade and young adult storytelling starts Thursday, March 27th. It runs through Saturday, March 29th. Run, don't walk to Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn, New York. You can even register same day.
Yes, you can. And one thing I did want to add, we are honoring two of the major voices in young adult and middle grade literature, Tony Medina and Rita Williams Garcia. And they will both be receiving the Nikki Giovanni Award for Literature.
Ooh, yes. Excuse me. Yes. Well, if I was in New York, I would be right there. And so for our leaders, learners, and listeners that can be there, go support, be in community with the folks over at Center for Black Literature. Thank you, Ms. Donna. Thank you, Donna Hill, for your incredible work. And we look forward to having you back again soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text PEC to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text PEC to 321-321. That's PEC to 321-321.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. We face tragedy, but we don't fall into despair. We continue our work to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. At the top of the show, we reported that heads are exploding on how security experts see the Signal War Plan breach. NPR reporting that an extraordinary breach of U.S. security is stunning security and intel veterans after a journalist was added to a Trump administration group chat on Signal, where senior leaders discuss plans for a military strike on Houthi rebels in Yemen. The breach left military and intel experts asking the same question as the public. Why would top U.S. officials use a free messaging app to discuss classified military plans? How could a journalist be added to their group chat? Now, certainly, we're all a part of some kind of group chat. There are family group chats. We have group chats with our BFF. Sometimes we have more group chats than we can manage. But isn't that a part of the problem? Isn't that possibly how they got into this mess in the first place? You know, it's not hard, especially if there's crossover, terms of the number of people in one group chat compared to the next group chat. It's not hard to inadvertently put something maybe in the wrong group chat. Have you ever done that? I know I've done that. But the difference is I'm not putting classified information, national security related information in a group chat. Let me take you down memory lane for a second. You remember how Republicans were just apoplectic about Hillary Clinton's emails? Remember how Trump's team reacted to Hillary Clinton's security breach? Let me just walk you down memory lane for a second. You see, in a 2016 appearance on Fox News, the future defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, repeatedly criticized presidential candidate Hillary Clinton for using a private server for her work as the Obama administration Secretary of State. USA Today reporting that as a Fox News on-air analyst, Hegseth made a lot of comments that year as Clinton's use of a private server became a Republican campaign issue. Remember how it stirred up a public controversy? It even sparked an FBI investigation. Any security professional, military, government, or otherwise would be fired on the spot for this type of conduct and criminally prosecuted for being so reckless with this kind of information. That's what Pete Hegseth said. End quote. He went on to say, quotes, "The fact that she wouldn't be held accountable for this, I think, blows the mind of anyone who's held our nation's secrets dear and who's had a top secret clearance like I have and others who know that even one hiccup causes a problem." End quote. In 2016, that's what Fox News host turned U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, that's what he said. Now the defense secretary and other top administration officials are embroiled in a controversy that brings to mind the drama around Clinton just 9 years ago. 9 years ago. All that drama about Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. And then this dude drops war plans in a group chat with a journalist, and we're supposed to just shrug our shoulders? That's supposed to make us feel safe and secure? What if Jeffrey Goldberg, what if he hadn't operated ethically? What if he decided to publish all of that in real time? Has anybody stopped and thought about the impact that could have on our troops in the region? Has anybody stopped and thought about the impact that could have on our allies in the region? If you are an ally of the United States and you share intel with our intelligence community, our U.S. intelligence community, you might be thinking twice about what you share, for fear that it might end up inadvertently in another group chat, in a breach that some national security experts have called unprecedented and extraordinarily grave. Pete Hegseth, the U.S. Defense Secretary, and other members of President Trump's cabinet were found to be discussing operational plans about how and when to attack the Iranian-sponsored Houthi militias in Yemen earlier this month. And they appear to have accidentally invited a prominent journalist, the Atlantic Magazine's editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg. He wrote about it in a bombshell article published on Monday and confirmed by the White House, but he didn't publish the details. Well, I think it is important to acknowledge when you make a mistake. We all make mistakes. Acknowledge when you make a mistake. But when you are staring us in our face like there's nothing to see here, we don't like that. We don't like that. And any journalist worth their weight in their T'Challa voice accepts that challenge. And the White House knows that. The administration knows that. And maybe that's why just moments ago, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz reportedly says he created the Signal group chat where details about an upcoming attack on targets in Yemen were mistakenly shared with a journalist. Waltz told Fox News Channel, quotes, "We made a mistake. We're moving forward." He said he was taking responsibility for what occurred and that no staffer was to blame. Walt said that he had not spoken to Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, who was added to the chain. He said that he was trying to add someone else's number and that Goldberg somehow appeared under another name. He wouldn't say whom he meant to add. There you have it. And interesting that the National Security Advisor accepts responsibility for this, but everyone else was saying nothing to see here. Should this give us hope? Or should we remain terrified? Who knows? Maybe a little bit of both. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. In our next hour, you don't want to miss my conversation with ESPN sports anchor Ryan Smith. He's hosting ABC's 2020's limited series Bad Romance, which premieres tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern on ABC. You can watch it, of course, the next day on Hulu. I asked him if bad romances, also include Black bad romances. And you definitely want to stick around to hear what he has to say about that. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward in afternoon drive time.
Earns, and Black single mothers make 56 cents. This pay gap is partly due to white men holding high-paying jobs while women of color are in low-wage roles like home health care. Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams is slamming former Governor Andrew Cuomo, accusing him of mishandling COVID and neglecting Black and brown communities during vaccine distribution. Cuomo's team fired back, calling Adams a desperate man and an agent of Trump. Black Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is racing